What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a new video on the channel. Welcome to a bit more of the good old Forza Horizon 5. A new car, obviously, added into the game, and I got it. I got it yesterday, I think. It's there. It's the Ioniq 6. I actually did end up driving this thing because I did the Rivals event in it, but obviously I ended up getting it now, so I thought we could make a video on it. The entire time that I was driving this thing, I was kind of squinting my eyes, so I can't actually tell what this thing looks like. Mostly because it is absolutely disgusting. 321 horsepower, 605 newton meters of torque, weighs 2 tons. It's fully electric, of course, because all the Ioniq cars are all mostly. They're mostly. They're not really anymore, right? Are they? Well, they used to be, right? There used to be Ioniq cars, that basically the old Hyundai Ioniq. I'm pretty sure it was a mixture. They used to have a petrol version. They used to have an electric version. They used to have a hybrid version of it. I mean, obviously, with all the ones that have the numbers after them, Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6, whatever, they all are fully electric cars. Now, that's cool and all, but what were they thinking when they designed this thing? They saw the Mercedes CLS, and they were like, let's do that, but put a little bit of a twist on it. See, from this angle, I like it. I like the front of it. I think the front looks very good. I think even as you go to the side profile like this, actually not too bad of a car. The wheels are a bit iffy, but then again, they're electric. They're made to be kind of, you know, aerodynamic, I guess, to try and smoothen the air over the wheels so you can get a little bit more range out of it, which is fine, right? It's supposed to be an electric car. Then you start doing this. What's going on that back end? It's like it just keeps going down. So far, it's still not that bad. And then what happened here? What is going on here? I'm sorry, but that is vile looking. It's just not a good. It's just not a good looking car. It has that same line that goes all the way to the rear, but it just, I feel like it goes down too far before it starts like kicking up back up again. Like the Mercedes CLSs, if you think about it, the way they go down but they kick back up just a little bit sooner, if that makes sense. Like the line that just comes down from the top. I can't really show it. Oh yeah, I can. I have a cursor. There we go. So the line that does this, right, and it goes down, it should go to like about here and then start kicking up again, and then you'll have like the rear end. I think that would make this car look so much better. You can still have this line on the back end that goes down like this, but you can if you had this, basically where the spoiler is, maybe just a little bit lower from where the spoiler is. If it goes like this and it starts kicking up, and then you have like a bulky rear end and it makes it look nice. Like this taillight just seems like it's too far down, in my opinion. I'm not a car designer, but I know what I like, and I don't like this. Alright? Overall, the rest of the car is fine. It's just that back end, I feel like they ruined it. I really like the front end of this thing. I think it looks good. Especially for Hyundai. Like, Hyundai is just changed, basically, their entire, like, personality with all the cars. Like, there's so many different cars now that they make that just look more premium, or they just look better. This looks a little bit boring inside. A little plain. Kind of reminds me of, like, a mixture between, like, a Civic and an Audi A4. Or A5, for example, with that whole center console thing. It just looks very, very similar. This whole thing where they ended up actually changing and getting rid of the actual badge in the middle of the steering wheel, and they put the 4 dots, is because in Morse code, that spells that is just a H. That's something that I never knew about until I saw a TikTok on it. I was like, that is actually quite a cool thing. What I don't like, though, is how the doors just have their own sort of design. They look a little bit boring, and they don't match the rest of the dash. Like, if you've seen any other cars and some of their designs, obviously the design of the dash will like wrap around you basically and go into the doors. It just looks a little bit weird that it doesn't do it on this car, and it's just, the doors just look like just the most incredibly boring things ever. Oh, that's why they look even more boring, is because all of the controls for the windows are all in the center here, and the locking the doors and all that sort of stuff. I get it. Buttons down there are alright. I'm not sure if I like the parking brake there. I feel like it should still be in the center here. But yeah. Apart from that, I think design-wise they've massively improved over the previous years. Hyundai, I think, are doing an alright job, to be honest with you. Anyway, let's go back out and let's drive this thing. Actually, I know the perfect place to drive this thing completely stock before we actually do stuff to it. Oh yeah, look at the dash and everything. It's all fancy and stuff. Not a big fan of massive displays in center, but that's because I'm basically more old school, if that makes sense. I prefer the old aisles and stuff like that. Anyway, let's do a run with this. It's on the Aerodromo Sprint, and I'll drive this thing completely stock. I've already done it, obviously, so I can, you know, get that car, but I'll try and do it again and show you guys what this thing is like to drive completely stock, and then I'll start doing some stuff to it. We'll start modifying it. Hopefully we can give this thing a silly amount of power as well. Before we drive this thing, I already... Nice. Why they spell it out like that? It's Aerodromo S print. It's not particularly fast. It's not particularly fast, and it definitely feels its weight, by the way. Like, this thing is hefty. Like, look at it. It just leans a lot. Oh, God. I have to stare at the back end of that thing as well. There's two of these now that I have to look at. But yeah, that back end, like, or not the back end, but just overall, the car is just heavy. You can feel it in the way it steers. You can feel it in the way it turns into the corner. Actually, I don't really mind that little bit of roll. The back end comes out. It's actually not too bad, but see when it does that. Oh my God. It just feels its weight. And it's such a... It doesn't feel, or it doesn't look like it's a big car. It's not really that big of a car, but 2 tons for the size of this thing. It's pretty mad. I thought my windows were going to go down for a second. It was just the ghost. It's just being kind of in the way. Yeah, it's a weird car. And like I said, if I could somehow do like a nice little weight reduction on this thing, I think we can probably get this car to be quite fun and quite quick in a lot of these situations. I mean, this thing is like B class, I think, right now. It doesn't feel anything higher than B class. Like, you know, some cars when you drive them and you're like, yeah, this is not in B class. It doesn't feel like it should be. It should be much higher in the class. Yeah, this definitely feels like it's like low B class. Yeah, I just don't really like the weight of it. I feel like that's one of my biggest gripes with it. I think everything else is pretty much easy to control. I mean, it doesn't really have a lot of power or a lot of torque. Not enough to like spin its wheels or anything like that. It's just the weight of this thing and the thinness, I guess, of the tires, or the crappy compound of the tires. Having this thing slip all the time. But it's good though, because I kind of want to build this thing for racing, and I also want to just bring it back on this track again. And we'll see how much of an improvement we can make. Even if we just keep it in B class. Actually, I don't even know if it's going to stay in B class once we do some sort of weight reduction. We're also pretty much done here. It tops out at 125. Can't go any faster than that. Yeah, it's just a little... It's just a little boring. It's just a little bland. Just a little bit bland. But this is Forza, so we can't change that. We can definitely get these cars to be a little better. I also should probably drive around with my braking line on, because I have no idea when to start braking with this thing, because it feels like sometimes I'm braking way too late. And then in those situations like there, I braked really early, and I was just too early. Apart from it being like very hefty, it's not a horrible car to drive. I think it's a good base to actually build something kind of interesting off it. It's all right. Right then, now that we're done with that, let's actually do stuff to it, because I feel like we've taken a look at this thing being stock for a little bit too long. I'm kind of bored of it anyway, driving it like this. Alright, let's do stuff to it. So, weight reduction, I think, being a massive part of this thing. Yeah, I knew I was going to bring it way up into A class. It's necessary though. We'll build it up to the top of A class. Then, I'm perfectly fine with that. Brakes as well, I feel like we'll need those. Anti-roll bars won't change anything, so we'll just slap them on. We got a motor swap. So we go from 321 to 417. It's not too bad at all, to be honest. Can we slap on some race tires on this thing? Actually, what are tire widths? 225s? I don't really like that. Okay, what about if we do that? Oh, we can't even buy a thing. I mean, I'll buy the diff, but I don't know if we're actually able to do anything. That's so odd looking. I'm gonna put it on anyway. 100%. I'm gonna turn this thing into be like a proper race car. What the hell? Oh wow, and it brings it all the way to 799. I mean, what can we really change in this thing? We could probably can we give it some lighter wheels maybe? I mean, slightly lighter wheels and we're sorted with this thing. Put some HREs on it for a laugh. 20s in the rear. 20s in the front. God, this looks weird like this. It looks so odd. But this is what we're rolling with. Now putting it to the top of A-Class. I really want to see what this thing drives like. I'll change a bit of the suspension setup and all that sort of stuff, but I really want to see what this thing drives like. Also, paint-wise, is there anything else other than black for this thing? Okay, wait, we can... Wait, what's... Okay, so we can do that. And then what's the other thing? Is it the grey bits? Oh! Okay. Well, what options do we have? We have this... I love this color already. Very, very nice color. It's like a weird, like... Is it burgundy, this color? It's kind of like it a little bit. It has like a small like hint of like purple in it. Green, red, it's like kind of off-white cream. And then a matte color or satin color. I kind of want to go with this like weird, like... It's kind of almost like gunmetal gray. With a little bit more blue thrown into it. I like it. I'll put that on. Better than just having all the parts in it black. Like it's a little bland. You can't really see a lot of the detail in it as well if all of it's fully black. Alright, cool. Let's head out and actually do a run with this thing. Bring it on the same track as well, because we've seen how fast or slow it was then. Ooh, a little sideways with this new engine swap. Or motor swap, I guess. It's not really an engine, is it? Let's go for a swim. Now, obviously, I can't bring it back to the monthly rivals to improve my time, because that's just, you know, it's set, so you only drive a completely stock one of these. But there is still a normal rivals event that we can throw out there. Let's also swap to some sim steering. See if that changes anything. I adjusted the tune slightly on this thing, obviously to have it respect kind of race spec the way I like it. Stretch my gear ratio, I guess. So we see this thing was stuck at 125. Oh, brakes are better. Tires are better. Grip is miles better. Oh, the weight is nicer. I've transformed this car. It is a completely different car now. Completely different car to drive. Like, it's not even close. Like, all of the characteristics of this thing have changed drastically with the upgrades. I mean, the tune obviously helps as well, but it's so much more agile, so much more precise with the steering. Look at that. And of course, these tires, I think, make a massive difference on this thing. And the weight, of course. It's like it's on rails now. It's so much nicer to drive. Back when we were stuck at 125, it's now a little bit quicker. Obviously, it's still not very fast. It's just struggling to get up to like 140 even. But I'm just testing this car out on this track just for the sake of seeing the massive time difference that we're going to get between the stock car and this car. Oh man, I braked so early there. I didn't need to brake that early. It's just way too good. I kind of want to bring it on a little bit of a like a tighter track, something smaller and a little bit tighter. And we'll see what that's like. I don't think this is going to be anywhere near like, you know, world record or anything like that. It's not going to be like meta or anything, but it's for sure going to be a better car than what it was stock. Again, we've jumped it up a whole class though. But within that one class, we've like transformed this car drastically. Like, it's not even like you have the same car that we've had before, but like just slightly improved in some ways. It's like better in every single way, shape or form. Like any way you can think of, this is just better. Like I said, it makes a massive difference with all these upgrades that I've slapped on this thing and the tune. It rotates nicely in the corner. I made it mostly rear wheel drive as well. It's like 85% of the power going to the rear wheels. And it's fine, it just pushes itself out of the corner. It doesn't slip anywhere. No understeer, no oversteer, nothing. It's just spot on. I really like that. That was really, really nice. Like I said, I think we need to go on a slightly smaller track with this thing. Because since it doesn't have that top speed on that area where it's just kind of like a straight. Can't really use its potential, I guess. Because it doesn't have any. So what we need is a smaller track. A track that all you need is a bit of acceleration, and that's it. So let's try pick something smaller. I think one of the good tracks that we can go with is the Horizon Mexico Circuit. I think we could try this. Obviously, there's other cars that are going to be very quick on this track, but I think this could be fun. I think this could be quite fun on this track. I need to also change my gear, I guess. I need to shorten it. We don't need 140 whatever miles an hour as a top speed for this. We needed to accelerate quickly out of corners. Right, let's head out. Pone shaker, of course, being used. Wouldn't expect it any other way. I don't even know what car I used before for this. Completely missed the checkpoint. I hope I didn't make my gear too short. I did. Alrighty then, let's head out. Accelerates a little quicker. Pone shaker, of course, being my rival. Should probably put braking line on, but it's fine. Oh, the grip is fantastic on this thing. I really like it. I've shortened my gear. Hopefully it's not too short. I think that was the only part of the actual track that at that speed is usable. Because I think everywhere else we have to actually slow down quite a lot. Here maybe? We can squeeze out another 120. Oh my god. Man, it's on rails. It just doesn't want to like slip at all. It'll like kind of go sideways a little, or not sideways, it was like kind of like understeer slightly, but like not even close to like it being bad. Oh, in the corners I have this bone shaker. In the corners, it's mine. I just can't keep up with it with the power. I don't even know what car I used prior to this on this track. Oh, no, my mirror's gone. How am I supposed to see it behind me? It's so good in the corners. Yeah. It's just lacking power. This is where this thing's gonna like suffer now. You put it up against anything else, it's just gonna suffer due to the fact that it just doesn't have the power for it. I was trying to think, maybe we can slap the other engine in it, right? Or motor, whatever you want to call it. You want to slap the other motor in it to get it to be a little bit faster. But then what do you take away? You know? What do you take away from it to make it drop down into A class? That's a big question. I think if you get rid of that front splitter, I think it's going to suffer. If you get rid of the tires, I feel like it might suffer as well. I think you'll get it to like understeer quite a bit. I don't know. I don't know what we could get rid of. The rotation of this thing, like the way it just turns into the corner, is so nice. Yeah, it's a lovely car to drive. I actually really enjoy this thing. It's just not competitive enough to do anything crazy, like beat the Bone Shaker or any sort of records on leaderboards or anything like that. But overall, like I said, it's an enjoyable car to take out and drive. It really sucks that we don't have like actual gears that we can slap on this thing, because some of the other electric cars you can actually put like a 4-speed in it and stuff like that. Like you can change the actual transmission. You can actually give it a transmission. Whereas with some of the newer ones that we have in the games, you're not actually allowed to. Which kind of sucks. Because I think if it had a transmission, I think we could probably get this thing to be very, very competitive. Because you could get it to accelerate a little bit quicker. You don't have just this one gear, basically. Make that torque and make that horsepower actually properly usable. Like I said, lovely car to drive, not competitive though. Incredibly ugly though, from every angle. Whoa. Leave my PB again. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Alright, somehow, some way, I actually ended up changing it to the other motor. So it now has more power, as you can see, but a little bit of weight came back due to the fact that I actually ended up downgrading the brakes on this thing by one slot. So it's not on the race brakes like the carbon ceramics, it's on like the sports brakes. It's gonna be a little bit more questionable now, but I'm willing to try like this. Everything else is just kind of stayed the same. Oh yeah, my transmission, or I guess my gears will change slightly as well. Since now this has more power, I should technically be able to have a slightly higher top speed. See how much this is affected by the changes that I've done. Yeah, I mean it's noticeably faster, of course. Diff is still fine. It works well enough. I don't really mind that at all. Brakes slightly questionable, of course, a little bit worse. So I kind of have to be careful. I mean, before I wasn't really like fully utilizing my brakes. I was just like kind of slowing down a little bit into the corner because this thing was kind of on rails anyway. So I would just accelerate and it'll just push me out of the corner really nicely. But now I actually genuinely have to slow down. Okay. You'll love to see it. I mean, I don't know where this guy's even on the leaderboards. Maybe he's like really far down. And I'm just trying to beat like, what, top 10,000 players, something stupid like that. Like, I didn't select this rival like manually. Like, he was just whatever was next, basically on the list. But I'm staying close with him though. Staying close to a Bone Shaker in the Ioniq. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I don't even know what my best time is on this track and with what car. Yeah, accelerating out of corners with this thing is like a breeze. And the grip it has is very, very nice. I mean, what was our time before? It was like 108 and a half, like 108.5. We now basically just pulled a second off our time. Told you, low 107s is what this thing's gonna get, and that's what I got. The low 107 is there. I think I might leave it alone, because it's gonna take me a while to try and beat that. Low 107? Not bad. 107.26, I think, right? That's what it was. So let's have a quick look at where I'm in the world with that. Or where would this car be in the world, I guess, on that run. Oh, I just realized this is a insanely heavily cheated leaderboard. This is mad. That is crazy. Okay, so I don't even think there's probably like nobody on this list here so far that I... Okay. Well, there's a lot of these scores that are just completely cheated. So the Mio I did a 106.5, and this thing I did a 107.2, right? So this would be a little lower. Yeah. I mean, you can see even everybody up here on this on these leaderboards. People like from my club and stuff. Yeah, this is I think just a very heavily cheated leaderboard. Even people that are actually good at the game, like the Ford Coupe, he barely got into the top of thousands on it. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's nowhere near top 1000, but that's because a lot of the scores are cheated. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest with you. I still am pretty happy with this car. I think it's still a good car. It's not, like, unbelievable or anything like that. Like, you don't really have any of the, like, crazy motor swaps, like what you call it, oh my god. The Rimac engine swap or motor swap, you don't have that available for it. So you can't have, like, a silly amount of horsepower. You alright, mate? How are you? But yeah, I think it's still a fun car to drive, and it's still kind of interesting, even though it's very ugly from the back end. Overall, though, a fun little car.